Happy Halloween, Mythgard fans. I have a delectable deck for you today. This is a mono red vampire list. We are going to be draining the blood from our opponents gruesomely and without reserve because we are going to be playing a lot of vampire synergies in this aggressive red list. We're using Journey of Souls, of course, because that seems Halloween-y, but also because it's quite good with this deck, which often finds its creatures in the grave. Impel is going to help us move our creatures around so they can have more advantageous attack lines. And then we are looking at a pretty standard red early game with Ignitions, Daring, Trapezists, Firesong, Prodigies, but we're working in the vampires here, the Strigoi Pup and the Strigoi Pureblood. Later, we have some big vampire payoff cards at turn 3. We have the Blood Dolls, which can buff adjacent vampire minions +2/+1. We also have the Strigoi Familiar, which reduces vampire cards, not just creatures, but all vampire cards. That includes the Ichor Feast and the Oak of Dodona, which is a vampire flora. It's a vampire plant. I believe Blood Moon as well is a vampire spell, so that can be quite powerful if you can get it out and keep it alive. Finally, we have a good amount of card draw with Ichor Feast and the Panic Raiders. We also have a small tech inclusion of mine, which is the Cyclopean Giant. It can do a lot of damage when attacking the lane opposite of it, and one way or the other, it's difficult to remove at 6 defense. Of course, keep an eye out for Led Astrays. If you're playing against green, that might be the card that you want to burn, so we're only running the 2 copies. Finally, we have plenty of things to be able to deal damage to the face with the Wings of Abaddon, which is quite effective, especially alongside the Panic Raider. Both of them have Rush, and they're going to be able to do damage to your opponent. We have the Duskwing Angel as a strong later game vampire. It also, fortunately for us, means that if they start trying to trade with multiple creatures, this will keep healing. So it has a good little survivability mechanic and has Agile to attack around certain blockers. Magmataur is just a really strong card, which can clear the way for other creatures to attack the face. And then we have our mythics, the Oak of Dodona, which allows us to draw a card after divining 3. If it dies, it also allows us to trade in other things, dealing damage whenever they die. We have Serapis. Serapis is going to be a lurker and a life tap, so we can protect it, because eventually if we protect it for long enough, we can give our creatures the ability to come back to play with Ephemeral after dying. Very vampire-esque. They can go back to their coffin and reform. Finally, Lord Valentine, the king of the vampires. I don't actually know if that's the case in the lore, but darn it if he isn't cool. And the reason why is when he comes down, if you already have a vampire out, as long as you can connect that vampire's attack to the opponent's face, he gets a standard action which can either attack himself, and he has Agile, or he can trade and he gets +1/+1 after killing another minion in combat. I think you guys see how this is supposed to work. Let's take it on the ladder for this spooky day. We found our first victim. Going to be playing against tokens, it seems. I think generally speaking we're okay against tokens. Depends on how fast of a start they can get. Unfortunately, we did not find a Strigoi Pup here. We'd really like to lead with that. We do have the Strigoi Pureblood for a future turn, though. Let's take a look. We're going to burn one of these Ichor Feasts because we don't need 2 in the hand, and we're not going to be playing them anytime soon. It does kind of disappoint us to not find a 1-drop here, but I think we'll end up being okay. We do have the Strigoi Pureblood into the Strigoi Familiar. It's a Twin Fire Zealot. Okay. We want to hold on to our Magmataur for sure. I think I like the idea too of having Lord Valentine and the Oak of Dodona. What I'm interested here, that's a Frenzy. I think we would normally like to Ignition this, because this thing's going to deal 2 damage twice. Let's see. We're going to go ahead, and we don't need Blood Moon and Ichor Feast. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn Ichor Feast because we think this is a more aggressive deck. And now we're stuck with the decision of, do we want to play the Pure Blood or do we want to play the Ignition and remove this? I think we're okay with them making this trade. So we'll go ahead and play the Strigoi Pureblood in front of it with the intention of having our opponent destroy it and lose its life in the process.
Pay your premiums.
The insurance broker is going to be able to draw cards for our opponent. We're not a huge fan of that, but the good news is we are going to have the Strigoi Familiar out this turn, and that's going to discount our creatures for the future. Now, if we play the Strigoi Familiar this turn, it's going to discount the Oak of Dodona to 3 and the Strigoi Pureblood to 1, which is going to basically allow us to play both of them next turn. That's what we want to work towards. We're going to take our Strigoi Familiar. It's valuable enough. We want to go ahead and put it over here in this corner. We want to protect it. So we're going to go ahead and place it down here. I'm going to be okay with my opponent's insurance broker getting some value. If they begin building over here to protect it, we can just kill it with the magmataur. It's going to be a demolition speedway there. Looks like another 2-drop's going to come down. The Einarjar Thane. Alright. Okay, here we go. So we're looking at... we need to burn something here. Cyclopean Giant's very, very nice, but we can't quite play it yet. And really, I don't think we want to play this yet. I think we're going to go ahead and burn the Giant. We're going to play the Oak of Dodona. Swing for 3. And I think we'll go ahead and play the Strigoi Pureblood over here as well. That gives us the ability to move it and then trade. Oh, right. This has Swift. That's why it's still hovering. We can move it and trade either into the Thane or into the insurance broker. Either way, we do like those options. Next turn, should our Strigoi Familiar still be alive, Lord Valentine can come down and just start cleaning up the board. If not, we have the Magmataur. Pretty good situation overall. Oof. Magnus Thorson is definitely not what we wanted to see there. That's a very powerful mythic that's going to be able to clean up a lot of our trades. Keep in mind, a lot of our creatures, unfortunately, we're taking the Magmataur here because Magmataur is really good. A lot of the creatures don't have a whole lot of defense. But we're going to get one back here, it looks like, thanks to the Journey of Souls. And there is Serapis. Serapis? Serapis. I think it's Serapis. Alright. For some reason, this Strigoi Pureblood is discounted. Why? Well, that's fascinating. This maintained the discount. Huh. Okay. I wonder if it will maintain the discount if it goes out of play. We're doing pretty good on life. Do we think we need the Blood Moon? I don't think we do. But it is nice to have. Alright, we'll go ahead and we'll burn the Blood Moon. Or maybe we burn Serapis here. Serapis may not get a ton of value. But it is definitely a big target. Alright, we'll burn the Blood Moon and we'll play the Magmataur. That's going to remove the insurance broker, which is excellent for us because we don't like dealing with that card. And of course, Magnus will have to take this trade. Here comes another Twin Fire Zealot. We're not a huge fan of that, but we do have the Ignition, which is the good news here. And Parry at the Gates is going to provide a lot more card draw. That actually does give us a chance to play this Magmataur down and get some extra value. We also could go with the Firesong Prodigy. So we have a choice here. So one of the interesting things is a Magmataur could come down, but we'd have to find something to burn to play the Pureblood. Because we want the Pureblood alive to trigger Lord Valentine and get him some free trades. So the question is, we could go Prodigy, Ignition, Ignition, Pureblood, 2 3, 4, 5, and not burn something. Or we could play the magmataur and burn something and try to get the pureblood out. I think we like saving the magmataur here. It's not as precise. But the thing is, if we play the magmataur, we have a little bit more flexibility here. Serapis feels really slow. I'm really considering burning Serapis. It's just, it has life tap, and that's really good. Alright. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go for the magmataur.
Flame, take you.
We're going to burn Serapis. We're going to put the pureblood over here. And that's going to be a pass. So now we've set up our Lord Valentine because we do have a vampire down. That's going to be Bragi Runesinger. That guy is a pain in the butt. He's also warded, which doesn't give us a lot of ways to deal with him. And of course, being on Demolition Speedway is a bit of a pain. Dark Passenger. Okay, so this guy gave a preemptive Dark Passenger. He literally is blowing up our Lord Valentine here, which absolutely sucks. But I think we're just going to go ahead and play around it and go for the kill. I think we're just going to not engage with Bragi. Instead, we're going to go for Lord Valentine over here. Let's go ahead and burn the Strigoi pup. We're going to zap this. We had Agile there, but we don't want our opponent trading with the pureblood either. This is a make-or-break situation here. Obviously, an Armageddon Angel would be really bad for us. There's a few things that could really hurt, but the good news is if my opponent can't do some really, really damning things to our board, we're going to get him. We do have a little bit of flexibility here with the firesong to remove some things. And a recruit. I think this is going to be GG here. Giant's Stairway. Okay, that makes things a little more complicated. But not complicated enough, I don't think. We're going to go Firesong Prodigy. We're going to burn this here. And Valentine gets an additional action. And we'll finish off our opponent. Good game.